I have cracked Flipkart and I am placed as a key account manager there.
But on what basis did you choose Altera?
First of all, I was very specific to the roles and the companies that I'm getting into. The differentiator that I was looking for, the quality of roles that are coming in, and the placements and the outcomes at Altera were inclined towards my particular aspirations. And I joined that and I have a fantastic experience.
Any piece of advice for the incoming batch?
Just trust the curriculum, trust the mentors, and you'll be good to go.
Was Flipkart one of your dream company before you joined?
Definitely.
Hi everyone. Today I have with me Pulkit from the class of 2025. We are in the 10th month of the program and I'm really excited to share that Pulkit has already converted a top e-commerce role at India's biggest e-commerce company. We'll talk more about that, but first things first, Pulkit, why don't you introduce yourselves to the audience?
Hi Arshdeep, my name is Pulkit Gupta. I was born and brought up in New Delhi. I did my BCom honors from Delhi University. Post that, I have a experience of about 4 months at KPMG India. When I was looking forward to my MBA, I came across various options. I had a decent percentile in CAT and NMAT. And then I came across Altera as the new leading business school in marketing. And I joined that and have a fantastic experience since.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Pulkit, that you had a couple of options because you had a good CAT percentile as well as a good NMAT score. So I'm sure that you would have had, other B schools that you would have chosen. So just walk us through your thought process as well as your decision-making process, that on what basis did you choose Altera, or you could have chosen others also.
Sure. So I'd like to start off the options that I had in hand. One was Narsi Munji Bombay, that was the HR program. Sure. I also had IMI Delhi, 4 Delhi, and I also had a BIFS program of Goa Institute of Management. Sure. So my decision parameters were very different from the usual people. First of all, I was very specific to the roles and the companies that I'm getting into. Wow. The placements numbers were almost the same with Altera and the tier 2 schools that I mentioned. The differentiator that I was looking for, the quality of roles that are coming in. So I was inclined towards marketing and sales due to my prior experience in that. Yeah. So when I gone through the placement reports of all the colleges, I figured out that the roles that I'm getting is not at par with my expectations or the aspirations that I have in my mind. Sure. So the curriculum and the placements and the outcomes at Altera were inclined towards my particular aspirations, and that was the whole 90% of the weightage that I gave when I was deciding for my MBA.
Makes sense. But still, we were still a new institute, say 1 year back. We still are, by the way. But, there would still have been apprehensions, right? Because it's one thing to, align with the kind of roles or, even with the curriculum, the pedagogy, the mentors, because sure, that makes sense. But still, just having that apprehension, look, because you go to only one B school in your life in most cases, right? Sure. And people really want to, make the right choice, sure. Right? So, just walk me through, what your apprehensions were, even sure. Your parents, let's say, right, sure. Or your peer group, right? What were the, some of the doubts that you had, and then how did you also end up solving them?
Sure. Yeah. So when I was deciding, one of the most common apprehension is what after the MBA. Sure. So you will get the first job through your campus placement. Right. What about the switch that you will get? Yeah. Is the institute valued in the industry? How will be treated in comparison to the people that have a traditional MBA. Sure. So I talk to various mentors, I talk to my relatives that are in the industry, I talk to the alums of Altera Institute, and the decision and the inference that I got was, after your campus placement, the work that you have done in the campus placement, yeah. And the network that you have created in, yeah. That particular time process is major deciding factor, yeah. In which the switch that you're gonna take into, unless you are from the IM ABCs, yeah. And FMS, that also has a very significant, yeah. Value. But in comparison to tier 2 colleges, it's all about the work that you have done and, yeah. The quality of people that you have networked with.
No, absolutely. The first job and the kind of work that you're doing in that role, that matters a lot. Even for the top IMs or the FMS, right? I can tell you that from first-hand experience, right? But just tell me that once you were here, right? You have now been here for almost a year, 10 months, whatever that is, right? How has your experience been like? Any notable anecdotes, any, experiences that stand out? Any sure. Delight moments that you had? Anything that will give some character to, to any aspiring student as to how their journey can also be like.
Sure. Yeah. So when I came across Altera the first day, in fact, the first 2 or 3 months were very rigorous. Every day was a new challenge. We had classes from 9 to 6. Then we also had some group assignments that we have to do. I still remember we were in the campus till 2 or 3 in the morning, and that was something that's very memorable because the kind of effort that we have put in and the kind of outcomes that we also expected and also have got were inclined towards that. There are various instances in which that are very memorable to me. To share one, that was a competition of Budweiser beads.
Okay.
In which we worked upon how we can remarket, reposition, and hold the proposition of Budweiser Beats, that's an energy drink.
Yeah.
How we can alter that to make it to the crowd, how we can make it stand out. So as a group, we figured out what are the possible changes that we can do to the positioning and the proposition. We drive the consumer insight and how we should marry to the changes that we are proposing. So one such delight or the aha moment that we got was we were initially in the first 3 or 4 months in the program, and the major learning that I got was every thought or the structure of the overall presentation and the structure of overall the idea should flow into a one particular direction.
Yeah.
So that was something that we initially was not aware of or we lagged in, but that was the area in which that changed my competitions or the assignments from that point of view.
Absolutely. Just getting those different avenues to, exercise what you're learning, right? Because there is science that says that if you're not applying what you're learning, you end up just, losing out a lot of that, right? And, while we are on that note, right, at least from the institute's side, we do try to add up as many live projects or term projects or just different avenues where you can apply what you're learning. So any one particular instance, be it a live project or a term project or any case competition in which you worked really hard and you're really proud of what you achieved over there.
So the instance was the competition at WebEngage. We were supposed to break down the customer journey for Sawari cab rentals. Each of the students were allotted a particular different company. And as an individual, the objective was to how we can identify the touch points and the pain points of the whole cab booking industry. So I logged into the website, made some few initial clicks as to see how the brand is interacting with the possible consumer. We found out certain loopholes, like this is the area that the brand is not doing well in. These are the areas that the brand is doing well in. So we divided the whole customer journey into pre-booking, the booking stage and the post-booking, and how we can integrate the possible resources that we have in hand to improve the customer journey and to how we can improve the lifetime value of the consumer.
And did you also get, the ample amount of mentorship, be it from WebEngage, leaders or from Altera Institute mentors?
Yeah, definitely. We had several lectures from WebEngage team itself. We also had lectures from Alex sir, Karan sir, and all of the mentors were very helpful at every stage as to how we can improve and build upon our particular idea.
Great. And why don't you also tell the audience about the role that you have cracked at a top e-com company and what exactly will you be doing in that role?
Sure. So I have cracked Flipkart and I am placed as a key account manager there. I will be working in the category team. I'll be allotted a particular category and my job will be to manage the brands that I have in that particular category. For example, if I have allotted a kitchenware, the brands that I'll have in hand is Hawkins, Prestige and everything. So I'll be the touch point between Flipkart and that particular brand. I'll be taking over what are the areas that they could potentially do, irrespective of the media that they deploy, the pricing and overall availability of that particular product as to how we can improve the brand's discoverability and price points to increase the sales that we have.
Sure. And tell me more about the process that you had, as you were interviewing, because I remember you guys had at least 2 or 3 rounds. In fact, even more than that, if I can recall, right? So were the questions asked in these interviews a bit more on the generalist side? I mean, was it more on HR answers and all of those? Or were they very specific to any particular domain or any particular function?
Sure. So at Flipkart, we had 3 processes. The last one was the HR and the 2 starting rounds were the technical rounds. So in the first interview, the major focus was particular on my CV and the work that I had done at Altera. That includes the live project and the term project. And they also asked various questions related to that particular job profile. That is the key account manager. They asked me what are the nuances that you currently know, what are the areas that you are well aware of in respect to the job profile. The second round was more in depth,
Okay.
and they asked the technicalities of day-to-day workings.
Wow.
For example, the case was given as to how will you prioritize various brands on which how can you extract the most margin, or the brands which are the major sources of growth for Flipkart in that particular category. So these are the three major cases that were asked, and so the whole thought process and your structured ability to think on that particular spot is just getting tested.
And was Flipkart one of your dream companies before you joined?
Definitely.
Yeah, the biggest e-commerce
Yeah.
company, why would it not be? And just one last question, before I leave you and you join back the class. In one line, if you had to form a summary of your experience over here at Altera,
Sure.
how would that be? And, what would that be all about? Yeah.
Sure. So to start with, trust the institute. The institute is great. You just have to make the most out of it. Second is do that hard work, do that assignment with your full rigor, because that particular learning that you will get will take you places. And just make sure that you are there in each and every class. Take the best use of the mentors, ask them various questions. I bombarded the mentors with lots of questions, and clear your every doubt, and just trust the curriculum, trust the mentors, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah, he didn't just bombard the mentors, he also bombarded a lot of alumni, before he joined. And yeah, but I'm really proud of what you have done, and I'm really expecting a lot of great things from you in the industry.
Definitely.
Pulkit. Thank you so much for joining for this brief chat with me. Thank you so much.